The British Mercedes driver enjoys an entirely unique feeling with his car. He wants it to focus entirely on the front axle. His aggressive driving style means he often locks the wheels. Lewis is extremely reactive when he starts to brake. He then often exceeds tire grip limits and only then, after exerting peak pressure on the pedal, begins to control the action of the braking system. The English driver wants perfect control when entering a corner, often releasing the throttle once in the turn. In fact, the first part of braking ends upon entering the corner, thus reducing the footprint and increasing the likelihood of the inside front wheel locking. The only limit that Hamilton knows, according to the engineers he works with, is the maximum temperature of brakes. However, it is his way of driving beyond any physical limit that ensures a truly spectacular and result-producing racing style.
You know, my dad put me in this car and I just bombed it around this little track. And straight away I felt at home. But for me, I mean, I picked up in my first maybe 5-10 laps, I picked up this braking technique and I used it through my whole karting career. It's that emotion that gives you I feel that gives me the know-how of when to push, of when I'm going too fast towards an apex or too slow towards an apex.
Former McLaren teammate Heikki Kovalainen goes on to describe his driving style in this clip from the Beyond the Grid podcast.
Yeah, I think the main area that I struggled to match him was braking areas. So he was able to brake later and harder, and yet he was able to hit the apex and make the exit the same as mine. Generally, his lines were a bit more square than mine, so he braked late and deep, turned the car in quite a short distance, and then his exits were quite straight. And I think that's one of the reasons over the years that he's been able to look after tires also very well. He puts less energy into the tires, and when he puts the energy, he puts them in places that it hurts the tires less. Like I was loading the tires, I was making corners quite long, and that's kind of my driving style. And I remember at McLaren, the engineers were also saying the Fernando style a bit similar, Kimi style and Mika style, they all carry a lot of speed into the corner and they make corners very long, whereas Lewis, he arrives, brakes late, turns the car sharp and has a straighter exit, so the tire has less energy. And I remember that particular area, the braking areas were always where I was struggling against him. So I think that's one of the key areas where he's very good. I remember in the high-speed stuff, I was able to match him, like minimum speeds in the high-speed corners. That wasn't that hard. It was easier to match him. But the braking areas and low-speed corners, he's very good at driving when the car doesn't have the maximum aero load and the car is moving around a bit more, and you kind of sitting on the mechanical grip and on the tire grip, if you like. He's very good at. He's got some special sensors in his ass that he can just tiptoe on that edge just a bit beyond